Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. So just waiting for Facebook to go live as well. Can't Facebook. Oh my goodness, please don't let me down. I'm in a bit of a rush to get somewhere and everything seems to be slow right now. But Facebook's letting me down, so I might have to I'm gonna have to re-upload. Sorry guys. Come on. Terribly sorry about this. Anyone on YouTube having issues with Facebook? I don't know that. Just hoping Facebook will upload this time. Come on. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy, back in another video. I was just uploading onto YouTube, but I was just saying I hope Facebook doesn't let me down. And it let me down. It wouldn't upload, so I had to go back and re-upload it. But anywho, hope everyone's well wherever you are, and welcome to the fourth and final part of my plans for Dyslexic Billionaires Network. I didn't get around to finishing it last night, so I thought I'd finish it tonight, or today, sorry. And I'm in a bit of a rush to go out somewhere in about 9 or 10 minutes, so or maximum for about 10 or 15 minutes or so. But typical that Facebook would let me down at this time. But anyway, yeah, I'm thankful for the opportunity there. But hopefully all will go well. And this is part 4. So as per usual, I thought the easiest way to do it would be to talk about what I hope to achieve in the future with this network, as I normally try and do part 4, especially as I'm in a rush now. As I often say, sometimes I do plan to mix up a bit and do things differently, but as I'm in a rush, I thought I would stick to the usual plan and make life a bit easier for myself. Anyway, so these are pointers number 31 to 40. Even though I'm in a rush, I probably still struggle to get to the point, but here goes. Someone putting up my name down for volunteering without telling me, so, but then he told me afterwards. So then we're going to try and politely tell him tomorrow, like, if you can just let me know in advance before, so I can plan my day out and let him know. And I don't really like to commit to anything, but I do like to help people, but I don't like to commit to anything. But anyway, here goes. So number 31, I dream to set this network up ASAP, and all being well, get it started. And I dream that making a video like this will be putting out to the universe, if you like, maybe, and see how it goes. And I don't imagine many dyslexic billionaires would spend a long time on Facebook or YouTube or even TikTok or whatever, but hopefully putting the idea out there will somehow help to put it into practice. But yeah, I dream to put this into practice, and like I say, like what I call Billionaires networks, I'd love to have 10% equity of them in them. What is it? Point number 2 then. Point number 32. I talked before about how I dream they'll learn from each other. And normally in part 4, I like to repeat what I talked about in part 1 at least, if not 2 and 3 or 3. But yeah, some key points that I mentioned. But I think one of the biggest things is learning from each other. I think that's probably being a millionaire or a billionaire, being wealthy generally. Earning more than most people probably requires a mindset, self-belief, and thinking differently about time and life. Like, I prefer to save time over money. And that's because I like to have fun and enjoy things. I don't like doing things I don't enjoy, like going into queues, staying in traffic, or things like that, going shopping or whatever. Like my mum is more middle class. Like she loves to go to, she'd go to a superstore to save money on shopping rather than go to a corner shop or the petrol station, because she'd be like, oh, I'm going to save that money. And a lot of my uncles and aunts are the same. They sort of like to save money, whereas on my dad's side of the family, probably more working class, like, if you like, and they like to live for the weekend and just go out and enjoy their money. And I'm probably like that in a way, but the irony is, what I was going to say on my initial point, which is that the more money minded I am, or the more money minded I was, the more I would say I want to save time even more, because, as I say, I think time is money and more. You only have a certain amount of time. Time is diminishing, unfortunately. It's a bit sad to think about. Very sad to think about. I don't want to be too depressing, but time is diminishing and money is increasing. They're printing it. So if you think which one is more valuable, supply and demand, I think time is way more valuable to an extent. Obviously, it depends on the number or the amount. So if it was £1 trillion for a second of your time, obviously it's going to, more than likely, it's going to be worth it. But depending on how much you believe in yourself, like Elon Musk, it'd be much easier for him to give you, now obviously you might say which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but it'd be much easier for him to give you $50 or even $100 or even $1,000 than like an hour of his time, because of the amount his shares are worth and all that kind of thing, stock is worth and all that. But to me, time is generally more important, especially if you believe in yourself. I believed I could learn about AI, and I was really money minded, and I believed that I can make trillions in the future. Then I guess my time would be even worth even more. I know you got to pay your bills, so there is that. But as some people say, never be so busy making a living that you forget to make life or whatever. But yeah, to me, time is more important because I like to have fun. I'm not that money minded, as I often mention, but for me, it's more about having fun. But I'm sure there's lots they can learn from each other if they join this network. That would be more, they could pick up the phone and talk to each other at any time, and possibly meet up at least once a week, and maybe even daily on Zoom, and have actual physical meetings. I mean, around the round table, sitting around the round table making big decisions. I'm sure that would be even more valuable, basically, put it simply, than the money they have or can get or whatever. But could be wrong, but that's what I think anyway. But so yeah, I think it's a mindset as well. I think there's a working class mindset, like go earn money and spend it straight away and enjoy it, and then there's a middle class mindset, which is like about saving money. And then there's the upper class mindset, which is probably more about saving time. But having never been rich myself, I wouldn't really know. I'm arguing from the point of ignorance, if you like, talking from the point of ignorance or whatever. Hopefully not arguing, but anyway, moving on. Number 33. So today, I wanted to wake up a bit early and have more energy and be a bit quicker and make this and then part one of my next video. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to do that after I come back from this place, as I'm already on it late. But yeah, I talk about them being free from, or this group being free from taxes, and having the right to monopolise, and hopefully helping each other to be more free and flexible, helping each other save time as well, which again I think is really important, and that can lead to having more money in the long run. But saving money, saving time, investing money, most importantly perhaps, using their time wisely, investing their time wisely, if you like. We talk about budgeting money, I suppose we don't talk about budgeting time, and that's what I love to do. I think if you get a piece of paper and draw like a circle around it, that's a bit of a side note, but and you put like 24 lines across, well, if you made it into 24 squares, like representing pizza or pie, let's say pie chart, so you can say pie, or cake or whatever, technically you can say either of those things. I'm about chocolate cake now, anyway, making me hungry, but I didn't even have time for breakfast. But if you that's because I prioritise making these videos, but if you put each one represents an hour of a day, and that's a slice of pizza, so, or pie or cake. So some people might wonder why they don't have much time left, but if you give up your time too freely, then if you cut too thin with your time, then you won't be able to spend more time doing other things. But I think that's what about managing time. You could say budgeting time, I guess. But yeah, some people might think it's a bad thing not to pay taxes or whatever. But I think it all depends on what you do with the money. Like, it depends if you think the government is more ethical than you and is going to spend it better, then I think you would probably rather pay taxes and rather people pay taxes. But if you believe I suppose it's difficult for the average person to, or anyone really, probably, to ensure that the money goes to those who need it the most. I think if you were a billionaire, whether dyslexic or not, it would probably be a lot easier to maybe even travel to some of those countries overseas and host events there and train people there, teach people, and offer knowledge. Like the adage, helping someone. Although I'm vegetarian, but I don't eat fish, therefore I'm not a pescatarian, I'm a vegetarian. But the adage, whatever the saying is, the saying basically that, whatever the correct word is, the saying that you can teach a person to fish rather than give them a fish, or whatever. But there's something else I was thinking about before, but we'll probably move on. But yeah, I think that we could spend that money on charity if I'm on this group or gets up and running, rather than taxes, and even investing in fellow dyslexics, including in developing nations, which I talked about before. So it's not that we would keep that money in taxes and not and just keep it and hoard it in our banks or whatever, or just invest it in our selfish purposes necessarily. Maybe that to an extent, but it would also be about supporting other things that I think would be more ethical than the government. I mean, approval ratings of the government are probably quite low normally, and people don't trust politicians. But yet they say, "Oh, we should pay taxes and let the government decide what to do with their money." But I'm not saying the rich are not necessarily selfish a lot of time or whatever. I suppose you've got to manage your time, be selfish with your time, if you like, as well, and your money. But yeah, I do wish to help others, but in a different way. But moving on with P.4, I dream that we'll invest in peace projects rather than war. I talk about like with a time for one. So I'm going to talk about that a bit later, all being well. So in my next video, all being well. So I'm going to move on to number 35. So I dream that it would be worth trillions ASAP. So we go from billions to trillions. Because like with shrewd investments, especially if they pool their money and resources together. I give an analogy. That's what I would. Metaphor or a hypothesis, something like that, or somewhere in between those things, perhaps, or a bit two or even all three of those things. But of like the PIF, Public Investment Fund, for those who don't know what that is, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, which invests in Newcastle, which I rather invest in Italian football and Celtic, but the fact they have a lot of money and people welcome their investments, so it could be copying investment strategy from like the PIF and others. But to me, by pulling their money and resources together would be something really cool. One thing I thought about in the past was like, what if they could, I suppose, as long as they do things legally, what if they could use their company's money to invest? So, again, I don't know the legalities on that, but I wouldn't encourage anything illegal. But I was thinking like, Schwab Corp has trillions of dollars. Assets under management which they can invest, which I suppose Charles Schwab himself is said to be worth. So that means what you're worth to the market. The market compensates you that much. So anyway, I don't want to give someone's value on what they're worth by how much money they have, how much money they make, or whatever. But I think the idea of net worth is like, this is how much the market compensates you because this is how good your work is. And someone put it, I mean, they say your network is your net worth. So this is a good example of a net worth of wealthy people, rich and wealthy people. But also, but also someone described your net worth as what value you provide to the market, to the job market or the business market or whatever. What value you provide to the market minus or divided by even how easy it is for your job to replace. So can your job be replaced by AI, they say, for instance? It's, can someone do your job? Can someone do it cheaper? Can someone do it better? Or whatever, that kind of thing. So that's what they say about net worth. So I don't judge someone's value on their net worth. If you believe in God, then, I mean, God may well say a homeless person is more value than rich person. But on the markets, obviously, net worth means that. Yeah, so I'd say that point. I've been off a bit on tangents, but number 36, during that investing in tangible, and I was thinking for point number 33, something about free. I don't know if I should say this one, but in spite of the fact that it'd be rich people, I still wish that dyslexics could get free daily sex. But apparently, if you rearrange the letters for, it's not the master fraction, but if you rearrange the letters of dyslexia, you get daily sex. But I wish we get free. But moving on. Number 37, I dream I'll invest in Celtic. The other thing is, people might say it doesn't, even if an idea seems like it's going to be really easy, even if something seems really easy, unfortunately, when you do it, it might not be as easy as you hope. I hope it'll be the opposite. I hope maybe expect it to be really difficult and be like, wow, that was easy. That'd be pretty cool. Talking about AI, however, some people are aware of, again, it's probably quite a little bit off topic, but it's not quite on the subject of dyslexic billionaires, but something I wish to work on. I think it was Wednesday to work on, because I was wondering if I should finish it today or another day, but I'll get it out of the way. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays, I like to work this, as I said before. But yeah, this is something I'd like to work on, and dyslexic wealth or whatever, wealthy dyslexics. But yeah, people talk about AI and say, what about purpose? If robots do all our work, robotic type of AI, or even AI generally in other areas, I suppose, if it does all our work for us. But to me, it should do all the rubbishy jobs. I'd say one or two other words about them, but I'll spell it out, the SHITTY jobs. I don't want to swear, but if you're old enough to spell it, you'll have to know. I do like try and keep my videos family friendly. I'll probably mess up on that one most of the time. But yeah, if you, I think, like, if you're creative, you don't need a job for a purpose. And I think that's the beauty of dyslexia. Most dyslexics can probably create something different. I feel I have more of a purpose now than when I had a job. I won't tell you how long ago it was, but right now. But when I had a job, I didn't feel that I just thought I'm just here. Whereas, and it took up a lot of my time. Whereas I feel now, I do feel I have a lot of purpose. I'd love to make sure everyone has shelter, a house to live in, enough to drink, enough to eat, and preferably can do the things we want to do. I think robots shouldn't do things that we don't want to do. As I mentioned before with myself, I wouldn't want robots to do my writing, even though I struggle with writing. I have these patterns and habits and things like that. So even though I uploaded Grammarly, I sort of kind of ignore it because I'm a creature of habit. So I know I should probably improve it. Maybe I should have my writing in brackets how it should be. Because I have the worst punctuation in the world, probably. I'm sure. I don't think anyone has worse punctuation than me, which is a bit embarrassing, or very embarrassing. But it is the real me at the end of the day, I guess. But yeah, I think AI and robots should replace the jobs we don't want to do and help us to do things we do want to do. So we can do more writing if we want to. We can do more walking if we want to. We only have to program or use AI robots when we need to, when we want to. So if someone likes hoovering for some reason, or they feel bored and they think, for God knows what reason, you'd find hoovering a fun activity to. You could still do that if you enjoyed doing that, or cleaning or tidying or organising or whatever. If you have some sort of OCD, I sort of have an OCD for writing and hoarding things. I don't know if that's an OCD. It is an obsession. It's a compulsion. Something I can't control. And I suppose you could say it's a disorder. So it is kind of an OCD, although my mum would rather you have that for cleaning, I'm sure. So cleaning or tidying or saving. Obsessed with saving. But probably not as much as some parents. Mums or dads would have been. Yeah, my aunt would go around, my late aunt would go around shops for hours trying to get a better deal or whatever. Yeah, to me, I think time is more valuable, but not that I use it as well as I like. But yeah, I think AI should replace the jobs we don't want to do as 3 years up, to the jobs we do want to do. But on the subject of time, number 38, as I say, I think we could still find a purpose. A lot of people are saying, oh, robots are going to take our purpose away. I see even religious people are saying, Christians, not sure about Muslims, but Christians certainly saying, some of them at least are saying that, oh, it's going to take our purpose away. It could trigger the end times, they say, and all that kind of stuff, unfortunately, which they may be right about. But to me, I rather see ethical, helpful AI robots doing things to set us free. Like, I love walking. I would never want a robot doing my walking for me, and I wouldn't get the health benefits, and I wouldn't get the whether that's mental and physical, getting that fresh air and feeling good. I like to go for a walk every day, even if it's just around the block, even when I've got things on my mind. In fact, sometimes it's just to de-stress you as well. Sometimes I actually enjoy going to the gym a bit. I certainly love walking. I used to enjoy swimming, but I find it too monotonous, tiring, boring, and that kind of thing. And because I don't get my breathing right, I get tired so quickly. I think that's the reason why, and I'm unfit. But yeah, I think robots. Sorry, I forgot to say, tying it into what I was saying about bringing it back to dyslexic billionaires and whatnot. Dyslexic billionaires could fund those robots to make our life easier, not more difficult, but easier. And I think people need to be creative and find a purpose in life. Sometimes I just suffer from depression now, and fears and anxiety and whatever, paranoia, anxiety, depression, even schizophrenia perhaps. But I find having a purpose really helps, and I don't think that should be tied to a job, because if you lose your job, for one thing, all your purpose goes out the window, or you feel more depressed. I understand people have got to pay the bills, and I don't know if I agree with like Elon Musk was saying all this stuff. I might talk about that a bit later again, but Elon Musk was talking about apparently, I didn't see the interview, but supposedly Elon Musk has said, and a lot of news reports have quoted and saying that in the future we'll have a choice, like what I'm saying, but I suppose people go pay the bills, but he's saying there'll be universal basic income, or even universal basic high income. But I think we should be really worried about whether that's a good thing or not. Because the government can snoop on us, like you said, even money will be useless in the future. I think we should bring back cash and currencies and things like that, and different currencies and that kind of thing, and have our differences between us and whatnot. But I don't think they should get rid of cash. But yeah, I think we should be worried about the government snooping on us. As someone said, if people say that you've got nothing to hide, you should have nothing to fear. But then they said, would you leave your blinds open so anyone could see in your house? Probably not. You want some privacy in your life. I'd never like anyone except for my cat to go in my room. But yeah, I like to have privacy sometimes, believe it or not, even though I probably reveal my whole life on these videos. But moving on, number 39. So yeah, basically, I think robots should be made, and Dyslexic Billionaires could help with that, with funding that sort of thing. I said before, like people in Africa making those robots, not as cheap labour, but as people who hopefully can then sell those robots. Now, I think it would be wise to bring down the price so ordinary people can afford it, but initially it might even be a high price, but people would have to pay for robots, and then the price would come down and down and down, reduced, just like so many other things, like when they mass-produce cars or things like that. Henry Ford did to make them cheaper, so ordinary people, everyday people could afford them. Similar with computers as well. Thinking about tech as well, like that's what Bill Gates wanted to do with Microsoft, making computers cheaper and more accessible for everyone, pretty much. And I think that's what would be good with robots. But African countries could benefit, just like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and people like that benefited from the computer revolution. I think it'd be good to see Africa benefit from the robotic revolution, and also the fact that they missed out on the first 3 industrial revolutions, but we are now in the 4th. So I think it would be good if they would be able to benefit from that. So yeah, I drew that. Dyslexic Billionaires Network, amongst other things, would help with that. And I say investing in town football, sponsoring the town league, sponsoring the town cups and things like that, and also Celtic and those other things. And number 40, I think that covered everything. I'd say. Maybe some dyslexics get sugar on us, but anyway, I hope you have a good time wherever you are. I'm running late as usual, but peace and love.